Hi there. Welcome back, or welcome to the Calling for Orpheus Knitting Podcast. My name is Connor, and you can find me at Calling for Orpheus on Ravelry, and Connor is creating on Blue Sky, both of which will be linked below, along with the timestamps for this video, so that you can go wherever you want. So, I've been gone, and I feel like every podcast for the last, 3 episodes, I've come back like, hey, sorry I was gone for a month and a half, or 2 months. Sorry. But first of all, and I think I also say this in every single time I come back after being gone for a little while, I don't think any of you care, and I mean that in a good way. I don't think anybody's like, where are you? You know? So life has been crazy, and I haven't been filming for a combination of, first of all, just not having the opportunity to, because again, life's been crazy. I don't think life has been normal for anybody in the last 3 months. So many podcasters that I like have been on hiatuses because life gets in the way. People who aren't on hiatuses are still like, oh my god, you know? And I just haven't been finding time to film. And then when I have been finding time to film, I haven't really had anything to talk about or anything that I wanted to talk about because my knitting mojo has been a mess. Over the last 2 months, right? Because my last pod was in January. The last 2 months, I have 2 finished objects, which is not a lot for me. Normally, I would have 4 to 6 by now. But it's fine. It's fine. It's not that I'm like, oh, I'm not making enough, and it makes me feel bad. It's like, I'm not really liking the things that I'm making, or I'm not feeling as good about things that I'm making, and so therefore I'm not finishing as many things, you know? But I do have some finished objects. Including what I'm wearing, and I am going to talk about a little bit later after I do the whole intro spiel. I am going to talk a little bit about why I think things have been funky. But the first finished object I had, this is not in chronological order, but the first finished object I had is what I'm wearing. Let me get up. I don't know if I have enough space to get all the way back to show you. Yeah, I do. This is my Weekender Crew by Andrea Mowry. I did not put the pockets on it, but I have the yarn too. I knit this out of Barocco Remix Light in the colorway Old Jeans. And yeah, I'm very pleased with it. The yarn, I'm wearing this next to skin, so I have nothing on under this. And it's really nice. It's really, really comfortable. It's very practical. It's a yarn that it's kind of a hot take, because I know a lot of people hate this yarn. A lot of people really hate it. But for me, where I live, it's perfect. And I already own 3 sweater quantities, including this one. And I might buy more in the future because I love this yarn. It's perfect for where I live, okay? Because where I live, I live in southern North Carolina, and it's considered a temperate climate. It is the exact same climate as, specifically the county that I live in. It is the exact same climate as Washington State or the Pacific Northwest in general. It is considered a temperate rainforest, so it is constantly raining, it is constantly humid, and we do get a cold winter and we do get a hot summer, but the winter doesn't tend to dip below 15 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below freezing, but is not that cold, and the summers don't tend to get above 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Whereas in the American Badlands, you can have summers that are frequently getting above 100 into 110, sometimes 120, I think, in some areas. So it's not that bad, but our summers are really, really long, and our winters are really, really short. And our spring and fall is also really short. So it's 6 months of the year is summer, basically. So it's just not practical for me to wear or to knit a ton of wool sweaters when I can only wear wool sweaters for a month out of the year. Basically, yeah, I can basically only wear wool sweaters in January. That's basically the only time it's cold enough for full wool. Maybe a little bit in December and a little bit in February, but really it's just January. And I love this yarn because it's, in my opinion, right, this is not my opinion, this is a fact. It is a synthetic and plant fiber blend. I have another ball here and I can read you exactly what's in it. It is 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So it works out to be a little over half synthetic and a little under half plant fiber. And in my opinion, this yarn takes on all of the best qualities of plant fiber, all of the best qualities of synthetic fiber, and none of the worst qualities, except it's very stiff. It doesn't, well, stiff is the wrong word. It's inelastic, right? It's very soft and malleable, and flowy and drapey. As you can see, it's very, very lightweight, but it just doesn't have any elasticity, so you have to get creative with bind offs and stuff, which I guess I'll talk about too. But it's, of the plant fiber, it's really, really light. It's very breezy, it's super breathable, it's easy to take care of, but it doesn't have the dry, kind of sometimes itchy factor that a lot of untreated, like linen, right? Like linen or hemp, where it gets, and even like kitchen cotton, where it gets that like dry, like hay texture. It's not like that at all. It's very, very soft. It's not very splitty, and I think a lot of that comes from the synthetic fiber, so it's quite soft. And the fiber, like once it's knit up, it's quite stretchy. It's very bouncy and flowy, but it's not hot like synthetic fiber tends to be. I love it. It's great. And I don't find that it really hurts my hands, but I also don't find that linen or cotton hurt my hands that much, or at least I don't find that it. I think it hurts my hands less than linen and cotton do. But linen and cotton I don't find the worst to begin with. So I would say this feels like in between the kind of fatigue that you can get from working with linen and cotton, but not quite as comfortable as like a non-superwash wool that's going to have a little bit of spring but not too much, you know. So it's the only thing. And on the topic of the lack of elasticity, excuse me, I've tried to bind off ribbing in this yarn using an Italian bind off. Don't. Don't. It doesn't work out. Because it doesn't have any elasticity, it flares out, it's stiff, it's just not good. And so for all of the ribbing on this that I didn't cast on, because the bottom is a cast on, but like for the neckline here and for the sleeves, I used, I believe it's called Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. And it's really easy. It's just a standard, it's a standard bind off, right, where you knit one, you purl one, and then you slip over, except there's a yarn over in between that slip over. And it's stretchy. It's not crazy stretchy. I don't think it's stretchier than, it's not stretchier than a tubular bind off on wool, but I would say that it's actually fairly comparable. You know, it's not a problem. I don't have a hard time getting this over my head. I can pull these like all the way up to my bicep. It's not really a problem. So yeah, I love it. I knit the size, I don't remember. I knit 3? I knit either size 2 or size 3. It's the pattern, it starts at size 0, which I don't like. The first size, it's the first size, call it size 1, but it makes it very confusing to talk about. So the first size is size 0, the second size is size 1, the third size is size 2, the fourth size is size 3. So I either knit size 2 or size 3. I knit the size that has a body circumference of 242 stitches or 246. It's one of the two. That's not giving away any details of the pattern, but like if you own the pattern, that's the size that I made. And I pretty much followed the pattern exactly. I did change the sleeve. I knit more stockinette before I started the decreases, and then I did fewer decreases. And it ended up being bracelet length. That's another thing, is I thought this was going to grow in length more than it did, but I don't mind that I have room here because it is supposed to be sort of a transitional sweater, and it's already been 9 minutes, and I've only talked about one thing. I need to move on. Okay, so that's that. That's my, but also I only have a couple finished objects, so that's my only finished garment of the day. Next thing, this actually finished before the sweater, but this is my little blanket for donation. I started this, ooh, whoa, it smells like detergent. My goodness. I started this at some point in January. I think like mid to late January I started this. It's quite big actually. Yeah, ooh, it really smells. I probably need to actually wash that a second time because it smells excessively like detergent. But I knitted this, I crocheted this out of Loops and Threads Carousel Twist in the colorway Tickled Pink. It's extremely soft. This is another yarn that I would really highly recommend if you're cool with synthetic. Um, it's extremely soft. I would not recommend it for knitting because it's very, very, very dense and ropey. Um, but if you're gonna crochet with it, it's great. It did not hurt my hands. It's ridiculously soft, and it softens even more once you launder it. And I was able to both put it in the washing machine and the dryer on high settings without any problems at all. And then this stuff, um, the border color is just some yarn that I had in my stash. Um, it's an old. I had it from someone else's D-stash, and they probably bought it 15 years ago. It's Vanessa's Choice, something like that. It's an old Lion brand acrylic yarn. It's just a worsted weight acrylic, but it's very soft. So that's what that is. Now I can get this out of the way. And the only two finished objects I have left are Handspun. And again, there's gonna be timestamps. If you don't care about the handspun, you can just skip right past this. I finished in February. I was not really knitting, but I was spinning, and I finished a total of 4 skeins of handspun. 2 of them I'm kind of like about, so I'm only gonna talk about the other 2. The first being this one. This, oh, it's so pretty on camera. Now these are not my usual colors at all, but I just liked it. I was just feeling the Valentine spirit. I like Valentine's Day. Even when I'm single, I like Valentine's Day. I think it's cute. And I just like these Valentine's colors. They make me happy. I would never wear these, at least not together. Like I'll wear purple and you'll actually have a purple thing. But purple and pink combined, or purple and red combined, I don't like at all, for clothing. But this, I don't know, just as yarn, I love it. So this is from Your Fibery Godmother. The colorway is Love Potion. It's 100% American Rambouillet, which is my favorite base to spin. And I got 120 grams and 330 yards out of the braid that I bought. Just look at it. It's like a DK worsted. It's so pretty. And I spun this up in 9 hours, I think, in one sitting. I literally, in my last podcast, I unboxed the fiber. And I was like, oh my god, this is so pretty. I'm going to spin this right now. And I did. I turned off the camera and I started spinning. And I was done with it. I think I started spinning at like, at like 3 p.m. and I was done by midnight. So, yeah. I love it. It's very soft. Again, I'm not going to make anything to wear out of this just because I would never wear these colors. I just like looking at them in this game. And that's enough. There's that. And then this one I actually will be wearing. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, and this is showing up so well on camera as well. I don't know how to toggle the color settings on my camera because I use my cell phone. I know that you can like grade the colors differently for them to show more accurately, but like this is showing up so nicely. Look at that. So this is from some fiber that my friend Alicia got me for Christmas because I was looking at her stash. She's big. She's like a walk-in stash. And I was looking at it and I found a skein of Spin Cycle. It was these colors. It was like orange and yellow and I think there was dashes of teal in there and I was like, God, that's beautiful. And she surprised me for Christmas with a bunch of spinning fiber in basically the same colors, which was so of her. I don't know what the fiber content is. It's a wool, there's stellina, and there's something else in here that I think is like, I don't know if it's silk or if it's like polyester or acrylic. It's very slippery and very shiny. It's all spun up, so I wouldn't really easily be able to show you. But I just love, like, just look at it. This is, yeah, I love it. And my plans for this is to make a. Originally, I was going to follow the pattern exactly, but I'm actually probably going to modify it to make it a hat because the yarn is kind of itchy. Let's see. Nope, not that one. I'm gonna have a field day editing this. Here it is. This, which also this book, The Fellowship of the Knit, Alicia also got me for my birthday. Look at that. Look at that. It's just called the Eye Cowl, based off of the Eye of Sauron, and I can't see what I'm showing you because I'm trying not to show you the text. But yeah, it's great. It's also double knit, so I don't think that I would have enough yarn for it. It's like double layered, I mean. I would probably make it a hat instead, just because this yarn it's quite rustic. But I do have to also, I also have to spin some black wool to go with it because I want them both to be hand spun to have the same kind of texture. So, okay, that's that. That is all of my finished objects. That's it. We're 15 minutes in. It might be okay. It might be okay. So now we can move on to whips. I'm gonna start with the oldest whip, which is, it's not like crazy old. This is an anchor. I'm not sure if it's going to be a sweater or if it's going to be a tee. It's showing up a little more blue on camera than it is in person. It's a little bit more purple in person. It is, I mean, it is purple. That's not helping. It is purple. I don't know what would make that look more accurate, but here it is. Anchor. I'm not following the anchor pattern. I already have in the past. I own it. I've made one before, and I just find when I actually followed the pattern, it didn't fit me well, actually. So I've done my own math, I've done my own grading and shaping. No raglan seams, because, like, excuse me, in the original anchor, the circular yoke comes down as far as you need it to, and then for some reason Petite Knit gives you like another like 6 inches of raglan, which is probably my fault, not her. It's probably like I have a gauge problem, but it did fit me well when I originally made it. So I have gone away. I've done away with those raglan seams, and it's just a circular yoke because that fits me much better. And yeah, this is also Remix Light. This is in the colorway Periwinkle, and this is actually my boyfriend bought for me as a gift for Valentine's Day. This is my Valentine's Day gift. And I can only say nice things about this yarn. I already have said everything that I need to talking about this, but it's so good. I love it. And I have 3 skeins of it. So I have actually a lot of this left over. I bought 4 skeins and I have a skein and a half left, which means I used 2.5 skeins. Yes. Yeah. 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 I have 2.5. I used 2.5 skeins to knit this full sweater, and I have 3 skeins for this. So I could knit a full sweater and still have yarn left over, but I'm torn. I don't know if I want to make another sweater or if I want to make a tee instead, because this it's very light. I don't feel hot in this really at all, but I am wondering if it may still be a little bit more practical and wearable for me if I do put short sleeves on this. And then whatever I have left over, I will probably make something for my boyfriend. It would not be a lot of yarn left over, so I don't know what he would even be able to get out of it. But we'll figure it out, right? So yeah, no idea exactly how this is going to work out, but it is. The only other thing that I think is really interesting to say with this is I put short rows in it, and you can't tell. That's another thing that I don't like about the original is there's no short rows. It just fits bad. I don't know, it just doesn't fit well. And I didn't want to put the short rows in after the circular yoke, because then the yoke design is obviously going to look like a bib that sits more forward than backward. And what I had originally done was I had just done a wedge. Like I did the collar, and then I just did a wedge of ribbing that ended like here, and then I just did more ribbing, and it looked weird. It didn't look good. I ripped that out. And what I decided to do instead was, instead of having one wedge with the short rows, I put 2 to 4 short rows in every ribbed section toward the end of it. And then when I was done with the ribbing, I did just a couple more short rows in stockinette so that it would be, give me more height in the back there, as you can see, without being obvious, which I'm quite proud of. So there's that. The more I look at it, the more that I think that I should make it a t-shirt. I don't know. We'll see. That's that. Next thing that I've got is my, this is a test knit. I mentioned in the last podcast that I was going to apply to test a design for Nicole Larkin of Common Thread Fiber called Stolen Silver Spoons Light. And I've started it. The test knit started sometime in February, and this is where I'm at. I really do like it so far. It's, I'm knitting it out of 2 strands of knitting for olive compatible cashmere held together in the colorway Dusty Dove Blue. And I really do like it so far. I'm modifying it. It's supposed to have a lace raglan, and I'm modifying it to have a traveling stitch raglan. Nicole said it was fine. That's what I'm doing. And normally, when I do test knits, I completely speed through them. this one hasn't been the case, and it's not because it's unpleasant. You know, it's not that it's hard. The thing with it is just the way that it's written. Which, let me tell you something. I really like the way that Nicole writes her patterns. This is my first one that I've knit from her. But the way that she does it, at least for this one, but it does seem to be the case for her other, at least similarly constructed patterns, is because this is a compound raglan, where, you know, you're not increasing at a steady rate the whole time. Like, it's constantly changing. Instead of saying, okay, for the next 5 rows, increase like this, then on row 6, increase like this, then row 7 through 12, increase like this, which I hate. I hate that, dude. And honestly, when I've seen that in the past in patterns, I just go, I'll figure it out. I just go, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't have the brain power. I don't have the brain power. I don't have the stitch markers to be constantly looking back. I don't like it. So what Nicole does is she gives you a spreadsheet, and every single row of the sweater, or at least of the yoke, is represented by a new row of the spreadsheet. So you can see row by row how many stitches you're supposed to have in each section, and therefore how many increases you should or should not be making. Let me pause real quick. I need to blow my nose. Okay, I blew my nose and I'm still congested, so we're just gonna move on. But as I was saying, I really, really like the way that Nicole writes these patterns, because you just look at the spreadsheet. Like, there's almost, after the setup, right? She gives you a setup, and then she explains how the rest of the yoke is going to work, and then you are directed to the spreadsheet, and it's just numbers from there, which I love. I love that. I find with knitting patterns, it can be really, really tough, because a lot of times just people's writing style can get in the way, which is not meant to be shade or anything. It's how it goes sometimes. That sometimes just the way that you word stuff, for some people it'll really work, for other people it's like, I don't understand, you know? And for this, it's just numbers. It's literally just numbers. It's completely objective. It does take a second to get used to, but I really, really prefer this over a compound raglan where every single round you're given a different paragraph. I don't like that, right? The only issue with this, while it's more intuitive and well, I shouldn't say convenient, but while it's more intuitive for me, it is not more convenient for me, because I have to constantly be staring at a spreadsheet, which is, on mobile, is kind of impossible. With the way Google Sheets works, it's like, that's not gonna happen. But I have a computer and I have a laptop, so I can just pull it up. It's not the end of the world. It's just not the most convenient thing, and it means that while this is, I mean, it's a raglan, it should be pretty easy, and it is quite easy. It's just, it demands a lot more of my focus than I would like it to, which is why I have not sat down to do as much of this, just because I have to kind of dedicate a session to it. But it's fine. I would be really putting the pedal to the metal with this if there was a strict deadline, but there's not. Thankfully, I don't think that the test ends until like June. We have 4 months from the start, and it started in mid-late February. So yeah, February, March, April, May, June. So I've got time. I'm not really stressed out with it, but that's how that's going. And then my final whip. I only have 3 whips, and none of them are anything that crazy. My final whip is a pair of socks. So, excuse me, oh my gosh. This has a little bit of a backstory. So, there is a yarn dyer I love, she's retiring. Asterisk, I'll get more into that later. She's retiring, but I really, really loved her yarn. And in 2023, she does a lot of monthly yarn clubs, like mystery yarn clubs. And in 2023, it was Supernatural themed. I love Supernatural. But I didn't get to buy all of the colors that I wanted, because what can happen with these mystery pre-orders is they drop, and you have a day or a couple of days to pre-order what you want, and if you don't, you don't. And there would be times where I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot about this. I would like that color, but I just don't have yarn money right now, and I had to miss it. Which is just, the nature of these yarn clubs. And I was waiting, because she said that she was going to do at the end of 2024, not the end of 2023, the end of 2024, she was going to release all of the colors at once so that you could buy anything that you wanted that you had missed. And it ended up happening, I think, early 2025 instead of late 2024, but, you know, same diff. And it was another one of those times where I didn't really have money for yarn. I had money for one skein. And I was torn between buying one more skein of a color I had bought in January of 2023 and didn't buy enough of because I was like, oh, it's a mystery color, I'll just buy 2 skeins. And then I loved it and wanted to make a garment. I was torn between buying that and buying a new to me color. And I was like, I would rather, if I can only buy one skein, I would rather buy a new color and get to experience something new than just add on to what I've already got. And I bought a sock set. The sock sets were actually less expensive than the single skeins, despite containing more yarn, which confuses me, but it's a win for me. And this is the sock set that I bought. There's the mini skein. Look at it. Look at it. The colorway is called I Hope Your Apple Pie Was Freaking Worth It. And it's based off of an early season episode. I couldn't actually tell you off the top of my head. I'm a fake fan. But the image on the ball band, which you can't see, is from the Scarecrow episode, which I think is like season 1 or 2. So it's early. And I'm on season like 12. I don't know. But it's beautiful. I love the colors. I love them. They're very autumnal, or almost a little bit like, you can almost get away with it as like a Christmas sock, almost. It just reminds me of apple pie, or of like cinnamon rolls or something. It just looks like it smells like cinnamon. And I have started a little sock. Nothing crazy. I think I'm starting with 1x1 ribbing. As you can see here, nothing crazy. I'm starting with 1x1 ribbing, and I think once the 1x1 ribbing is done, I'm going to move on to, I have a multiple of 8. So I think I'm either going to do 6x2 or 7x1, probably 6x2, so I can evenly divide it over the foot. Yeah, contrast heel and toe. And Summer Lee recently came out, I don't know if it's that recent, it was probably a couple months ago now, came out with a sock design set called the Comfort Core set, and it's based off of Nike Dry Fit socks. And what she does in that sock design is she has there's a band around that goes around the arch of your foot, and I believe that what she does with that, or at least, I mean, what I'm going to do, is it's knit one, slip one, knit one. Or knit one, slip one, then knit all around, I think is what it is. Like, it's eye of partridge. That's what it looks like to me. And because I'm not that into the rest of the sock, I think I'm just gonna try that band, just do what I think she did, figure it out, pop it on these socks. And I'll probably also do that in the contrast color. So yeah, that's that. That's it. That's all I've got for whips. Now, I have a lot of acquisitions. I have not been making that much because my mojo has been off. This, I guess, is the point to talk about that. I think it's mostly, yeah, I guess it's a combination of things. I would say it's probably mostly because I'm coming off of January, where I knit 2 of my favorite sweaters of all time. I mean, how do you follow that up, right? How do you follow that up? And if you weren't watching in January, I made my Stitches sweater. Here it is. It's extremely beautiful. I think that this is my new favorite sweater that I own. Look at it. And then before that, I finished Taranika. There it is. Also, I think this is objectively, like, more impressive, but I wear Stitches more because it's just more fun. But they're both extremely beautiful. And how do you follow that up, right? And then the other thing is, we're getting out of winter, so we're getting out of the warm, cozy season where I need to be wearing wool sweaters, and we're getting into, oh my god, it's hot as hell for 6 months, which does make it tougher to knit, because, like, obviously you can knit summer garments, and I do, and I have, and I'm going to make more, but it's different. And even then, you know, even summer garments, they're knit out of silk and linen and cotton and whatever, are still, like, nothing is comfortable when it's 95 degrees outside at 100% humidity, you know? So I think that's also part of it. But yeah, I've just not been feeling that crazy about anything that I've been knitting. Like, I'm extremely happy with this, but I've never been like, oh man, I'm really excited to get this going with any of these things, honestly. Even though I like them all. I like all of them. I like everything that I'm working on, and I like this so much. It's just not as exciting. So I have a lot of acquisitions, and with that, I'm going to talk about plans because I wanna make things that are exciting. I want at least one thing that's exciting that's gonna help me through. I don't know what order to do this in. You know what? I'll start with this. Even though I didn't buy this first, I'll start with this because I just talked about the sock set. Oh my god, I didn't even tell you the designer or the dyer. So the dyer behind this, I don't even think I told you what her store is called. This is from Gaddy Yarn Co. Gatti on Etsy. Her name is Ashley Gaddy, and I honestly don't know if you can buy yarn from her anymore because she is retiring. And I saw it on her Instagram. She was posting stories about it, about how dyeing was just not really fun for her anymore, and she was going to step back from it. And it seems to me more leaning permanent. You know, it seems kind of indefinite. It's not like I'm never doing this again, but it's also not I'm gonna take a week off and I'll be back. It seems like it's leaning more permanent. And like a day after she announced that retirement or that indefinite break, I received a coupon on Etsy for her store for 10% off, which is not nothing. And I was like, I thought she was done. Is her store even still up? And it was. And I clicked on the coupon, got my 10% off applied to whatever I wanted to buy. And she had a limited amount of yarn left. And one of the colorways she had was her Dean Winchester colorway, which is my favorite colorway that she has ever made ever. And it's one of my favorite hand-dyed yarn colorways of all time. And it's the one that I bought 2 skeins of all the way back when she started the club in January of 2023. And then realized, oh, I really like this and I want to make a garment out of it. And what I would do nowadays, what I would do in 2025 is if that happened to me, I would be like, okay, I'm going to message the dyer. I would send them a message or send them an email and ask if I could get a custom order of 1 or 2 more skeins of it. I would offer to pay extra and be cool with it if they say no. That's what I would do now. Because the worst they could say is no. And bird, there's a wren on my window. Hello. Okay, it's gone. The worst I can say is no. And I think a lot of smaller dyers like this that don't have as many orders and as much to deal with would be more willing to be like, oh, you're willing to pay an extra $10 or $20 per skein for a custom order? Yeah, I'll do that for you. I have time. But I didn't think to do that at the time. And I was stuck with 2 skeins to make a garment. And I made a t-shirt that is too tight. I mean, it fits around my body. It's slim, but it fits around my body. The sleeves are tiny. They know, right? So I saw that she had the colorway, and I was like, oh, I'm going to buy another 2 skeins of it, and I can finally have a sweater out of that yarn. It was the wrong base. I bought the wrong base. She only had this one base available, as far as I'm aware. Like, this was the only base available, but Etsy had a fun little bug, and it didn't let me pick the base, and also didn't show me what base I was buying. Normally they do, with her store in particular, like you can, there's a drop-down menu, you can pick your base. And if bases are sold out, they'll just be gray, you know, and you can click whatever is left. Etsy felt like not showing me that. So I bought 2 skeins of what I thought was fingering, and it got DK. And it did say DK on my receipt. But it's fine. I don't regret it. Here's the colorway. It's so good. It's so good. Just, oh. It's so good. I adore it. I don't regret having bought it. I'm happy to have it because if I didn't have this, I wouldn't have any more of this color at all. And this is a DK sock base. It is a, it's a little hard to read, but it is a 75-25 merino nylon blend on DK, which I love DK socks. So I'm not disappointed in this. I will be making DK socks, and I'll figure something else out for the fingering weight because no, I can't hold them together. No, I can't. They it's variegated yarn, or it's variegated speckly yarn. I can't hold them double and then hold single and have it look. It's not gonna work. Trust me, it's not gonna work. But I'll figure it out. So that's that. I've also got another sweater quantity here. Well, I guess you know what I mean. full sweater quantity here of some Sorella cashmere sock in the colorway the Green Light. I pre-ordered this in January? January. Yeah, this is a January pre-order of their Greatest Hits collection. This specifically, I believe, originally ran in the library collection. It is their Great Gatsby themed colorway. And it's just green. And the plans that I originally had for this were just to do a really, really simple, like, sweatshirt style raglan. Top down raglan. I would put the sleeves really wide so it actually looks nice on me. But, really, really basic. Wardrobe staple, all stockinette. Nothing crazy is what I would do with that, I think. What else have I got? I also have some of this. This is Knit Picks Bubbly Boucle that I bought. Also a story for this, conveniently. My Christmas sweater. I don't know if you saw, you would only have seen it in my Everything I Knit in 2024 video. So if you've seen that video, you know what I'm talking about, at least a little bit. And if you've not seen that video, you don't need to watch it. It's at the very end. It was a cabled sweater. It was an all-over cabled sweater knit in a red yarn. It was knitting for Olive, merino, and soft silk mohair held together. But the soft silk mohair, I didn't like the color of it. It looked very different on the website, and it came, and it was... On the website, it looked like blood red. It came, and it was fox coat orange. It was just not what I wanted. And they don't make it easy to return those things, which I think is annoying, because they mostly operate online. But it's fine. And I knitted the thing, and I didn't like it. Shocker. So I unraveled the whole thing. And as I was unraveling, I separated the merino from the mohair because I wanted to keep the merino and I wanted to give the mohair to a friend who I know will use it. I bought some of this. It is Alpaca Boucle. The colorway here is Shirley. It's a very beautiful bright red color. And you can see I've got it caked up with, this is the boucle and the merino held double in this strand here. And the plans for this were to knit a drop shoulder sweater inspired by a self-drafted sweater from Isabella of Breathing Yarn. She, I believe, calls it her big hug sweater, but it's this big, it's very oversized. It's a white boucle sweater with like really chunky 2x2 ribbing. It's beautiful. And guess what else I was doing in February and March? Knitting this sweater, and my flat gauge, which I did a gauge swatch, I blocked the gauge swatch. I started with the back panel, I blocked the back panel, I picked up for the front, I blocked it again. And then I went to continue in the round, and I didn't block it again until it was done. And my round gauge was significantly smaller than my flat gauge, which is not how it normally goes for me. But it just didn't fit. It just didn't fit. It was like 8 inches too small. Well, no. I wanted 10 to 12 inches of positive ease. And what I got was 2 inches of positive ease. So it fit my body, but not the way that I wanted it to. And I like the way the sleeves fit and everything, so I could have just ripped it back to the underarms and then continued from there and just picked up a bunch of stitches at the underarm or switched to a bigger needle size, something. I could have figured it out, but I was just like, I don't want this half-finished object staring at me, and I don't want to feel pressured to finish it right now. So I unraveled the entire thing. And I'm gonna restart it. I kind of regret actually unraveling the whole thing now, but at the time I was so frustrated. I was like, I want this out of my sight. So I unraveled the whole thing. Yay! And I have to do it all over again. Unraveling boucle is awful. But it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So that's another plan that I have. This actually might be one of the ones that I start first, because I think it's gonna be the most fun and interesting, maybe. Next thing, I've got another acquisition. Ugh. Do you want to guess what it is? It's Remix Light. Wrong side. Upside down. It's Remix Light. I bought even more of this. This is the colorway Pool. I like it. It's cute. It doesn't show up that well on camera. I mean, it's a really rich, pretty blue, but you're not seeing all of the other colors in there. Because there's bits of white and pink in there as well. They're very little bits of pink, but they're in there. It's so pretty. And my plans for this are to knit a sweater. It's going to be self-drafted, and I'll tell you why. But a sweater inspired by The Traveler Crew by Andrea Mowry. The reason why I want to do it self-drafted instead of just buying the pattern and following it, or buying it and modifying it is because the kind of modifications that I want to make and the amount of modifications I make are just like, I might as well just do it myself at that point, because I'm going to be doing the same amount of work whether I spend $9 or not, which I know sounds like an asshole, like an asshole perspective, but it's true. I'm going to be doing the same amount of work, and hot take, and I think this is the truth, but I know it's a hot take. Knitting patterns, buying a knitting pattern is not buying the right to a design. It's a convenience fee, so that you don't have to do the math. That's what it's for. And I'm gonna be changing basically everything, other than the fact that it's a drop shoulder knit pearl ridge sweater. I'm basically gonna be changing everything else. So instead of doing it from the bottom up, I'm gonna do it from the top down because I hate bottom up. I hate it. I don't like it. It's fine for cables, but for everything else, I don't want to. And also with the stitch pattern that you're getting with this is apparently it scrunches up a lot, like garter stitch, and I just don't want to be messing with that with bottom up. I don't want to do it. I'm going to, right, so it's going to be top down. It's going to be on a different gauge. Slightly different, but still different than what she does. My knit columns are going to be bigger than hers. I think like she's got like pretty small knit columns and either the same size or slightly larger pearls. I want the knits to be wider. I'm doing it full length as opposed to cropped, but I want to keep the tapered fit. So I'm going to have to remath all of that, right? Enough modifications, I think, that I'm just going to self-draft it. And I think it's going to look amazing, and I'm very excited. And this is the other contender for the next thing I cast on, because I can actually wear this a lot sooner than I can wear this boucle monstrosity. At least outside. I can wear this inside with the AC cranking, but, you know, that's the most. And then the other things I've got, which are not acquisitions but are plans, are, first of all, I'll talk about this. It's in a bag that, oh, that looks gross on camera. It's more green, it looks kind of brown on camera. It's in a bag that I was holding spinning fiber in, so ignore the label. But this is my, that might be too small for me now. I hope not. I don't know. I don't know. No, it's fine. Right? I don't know. Oh, no. Whatever. It'll be okay. This is a Friday tee that I started last year. Knit out of Juniper Wood Farm Zoe is the white stripe, and Summer Solstice is the green. And, yeah, I started it last year, late summer, and I made a lot of progress on it. As you can see, I'm quite far down. But I just didn't feel like continuing it once it became, I think in like September, I was like, I'm over the summer knits, even though I could have still worn it for a good couple of weeks or even a month or more. Yeah, I could have worn it much longer than I did, but I just didn't feel like it. So I put it away and I was like, yeah, I'll pull it back out in spring. And now it's spring. So this is another thing that I think I'm going to continue working on. It is so tangled up. Oh my gosh. I don't need to be doing this right now. But, oh boy, it's very tangled up. Okay. So yeah, that's another thing on the list. And I think what I'm probably going to do, is that too many things? 1, 2, 3, 5 whips is not too many whips. 5 whips is not too many. I'm probably going to pick this back up and continue everything else that I'm working on and ASAP cast this on. I think, or I might even, I might even hold off a little bit on this because this is a warmer weather garment. I don't know.